tell us about, you were trying to draw a distinction between the thermal plants and the hydro plants. You're the chairman, William Duncan Hydroelectric, and meaning you're an expert in electricity rather. Sometimes we just wake up and we realize that electricity, had improved. That was maybe during the peak of the raining seasons, and always on this program we've always said, how come when it rains, we have steady electricity in the country, and when it is harmattan or the dry season, it goes down again. Tell us if it has to do with anything hydro, and how best can we have other sources of electricity in the country now that we're trying to fix the power problem?
Yeah, I know that we have high electricity availability within the rainy season, and during dry season the production goes down. It has a direct relationship with the availability of water. It has a direct relationship with availability of water. That brings to mind, when you have the thermal plants, for instance, Nigeria is known to be a one of the biggest world petroleum producing country, and one would imagine that gas should not be a problem in this country. But unfortunately, one of the greatest problems we have to our thermal plants are the availability of gas. Now, there are so many impediments, there are so many lines of failures from when the gas is produced and how it gets to the thermal plants.
Tell us some of those failures.
All the risks involved in gas generation, collapses into one of the risks of the thermal plants risks, because if it is not produced, let's assume that there's vandalization or there's a blow up at a rig, then the gas may not get to the thermal plant at all. So the risk of thermal plants start right from the generation, the production of gas from the plant. Now, if you move closer to the plant itself, then you have funding as one of the constraints that these thermal plants have. It is highly capital intensive. Take, for instance, let's do a little bit of arithmetic here. If you have a 200 megawatts plant and you want to generate 100 megawatts, which is 50% plant capacity. For you to generate 1 megawatt of electricity, you need 630, between $625 or $630, 1 megawatt. So if you want to generate 100 megawatts a day, that is 60,000, around slightly more than $60,000, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And then if you run that for a month, you are talking of almost 2 million, because it's 1.99 whatever, very close to $2 million. That is for 100 megawatts. So, and that is just for gas. You are not talking of the operational and maintenance expenses. So the capacity, cash requirements, I mean, you require from banks, is so enormous. But for hydro, basically, the raw material is water. And so when you dam the water, the most expensive thing in hydro is the construction of the dam, because the dam constitutes 75% of the total project cost. But it is exceedingly expensive. However, when thermal plants, lifespan is between 15 to 20 years. Thereafter, you have to overhaul it, major overhaul. That of hydro is minimum of 100 years to 150.
Oh, it stays longer.
Oh, yeah. And you don't need anything, you don't need any additive to add to the water. Just get the water down your penstock, down to the turbines, under force, and it turns the turbines. Very simple engineering.
But we don't have as much hydro plants as
precisely, that's where I'm going. That while it is a lot cheaper to set up thermal plants, I mean, its lifespan is very short, and it's very, very expensive to maintain. Now, while that of hydro, I mean, the minimum lifespan is 100 years. If you go to where we intend to put our plant, I mean, when I say we, I mean Plateau State government and ourselves, the private investors. There is another plant there called Nigerian Electricity Supply Company, NESCO. The plant came into existence in 1919, and today we are in
1919.
1919.
Wow.
So by 2019, it will be 100 years, and that plant is generating.
It's a hydro plant.
Yes, the first hydro plant in West Africa. We've been hearing Kainji Dam since I was tiny. That thing is still going on. And in terms of capacity output, because of limitations of the thermal plants, hydros have large capacities. Look at Mr. President just got a loan to put up the Mambila Plateau. Yeah. We expect like 2,600 megawatts from that. No any thermal plant can put down that kind of production. Zungeru was commissioned some few months before he went to China. We expect like, is it 900 megawatts? And you can reasonably assess that of hydro, because the dam capacity, you know exactly your capacity of water you have in the reservoir. So you can increase your discharge into the turbines to increase the output during rainy season, and during dry season you can reduce it in line with the amount of water you have in the reservoir. So it has a direct relationship. The rainy season has the hydro plants go almost full blast during rainy season.